Hey everybody, I'm Drew,
Hello there, I'm Josh.
Greetings, I'm Dale.
and this is Sexy Nerd Science Season 4, Episode 20, man.
420, man.
We got a good show lined up for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We got Cherry Garcia. Sorry.
Oh, man. All right, so that's our 420 bit for the whole show.
It's
Nothing
done.
else.
It's no more. Yeah.
No other 420 stuff.
I ran out of weed 2 weeks ago.
You didn't pick up any when you went to Michigan?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
It's not legal there yet.
Oh. Well,
Go out and vote, everybody. That's what we. First off, in sexy news, voting registration was 3 days ago, as of recording this. So I hope everyone went out and registered to vote.
Well, that was just the go vote day.
Well, it was. I think it was
voter registration started
voter registration day. Like, I think it was the last day to register to vote.
No, you can register still.
Good. Everyone go out. Make sure you register to vote.
I think it was the first day you could register.
Maybe
to vote.
that's what it is. I don't know.
No, it was just a day to everybody to go out and register.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was voter registration day.
Yes, but it was just like a day to remind everybody to do it. It wasn't the beginning. It wasn't the end. You can do it all year round. You have like 3 or 4 days before you do it.
But I mean, like, to do it on voter registration day. Facebook was yelling at me like, did you register to vote? Did you register?
I bet Facebook was yelling at you.
It does. You know what?
It yells at you
later. It's a loud, yelly toilet. It's like the German toilet in Team 4-Star.
Mm-hmm. So we got some cool news for you today.
Cool news.
But this is Dale's wheelhouse, so we'll give it to him.
Dale's wheelhouse.
This is not my wheelhouse.
Dale doesn't even care.
Did you put that in there?
Dale put that in there, but he knew because I would care about it. So the Detroit Lions have their first win of the season, and it was against the New England Patriots. Matt Patricia's boss daddy.
So why does that matter, Josh?
So Matt Patricia, current head coach for the Lions, was the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. It was actually one of the first times that a former New England coach played the Patriots and won the first game. Usually Bill Belichick makes sure that he still wins every time. But it was a huge upset. I mean, the Lions lost to the Jets. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers. Lost miserably to the Jets. Closer game on the 49ers. And then just played like the greatest I've ever seen. Not even, it wasn't the greatest. Don't get me wrong. Matt Stafford threw a pick. Like, it wasn't the greatest. But it was really good defense and like a really okay offense. I think by the time the Patriots got their first down, Detroit had 15 or 13. It was one of those odd numbers. But they had 15 first downs before New England even got one. So the defense was doing their job. Offense was on par. Dale and I were betting on the game before that. But I put on our Twitter that we had low expectations going into that game, and we were very pleasantly surprised with the way the FanDuel turned out and the way the game turned out. It was a good game. I've seen 4 or 5 games in that Buffalo Wild Wings with Dale. I think they were all losses. And
that's what you get out of the Lions, though. So
yeah, but I mean, it was one of those things where like by the end there, the bar was happy. Like, there were a lot of people joking around like, oh, they're going to suck today. But like, as it started getting better and better, like, it was good. And there was even a scene where after Tom Brady threw a pick, picked off by big play, Darius Slay, he threw the pick, and then he gets to the sideline and just takes his helmet and just like gives up and tosses it and like goes and sits down. And I'm just
I think that pick didn't even count like at the end of it, but he was still like angry. Like, why is this happening?
Yeah, it did count, but there was holding on the defense. So it got
That's what I mean.
But I mean, like, it was one of those things where, like, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. And it was the last day that I was in Michigan, so it was the capstone to my trip in Michigan.
In other upset news, the Buffalo Bills beat the Vikings in a crazy blowout.
That was, yeah. Minnesota Vikings were supposed to be really good this year, and
there was a good. I mean, the most notable play that pretty much everybody's been talking about is their quarterback Josh Allen's hurdle over one of the linebackers for the Vikings to complete a full 10-yard first down. It was, I mean, you've seen people hurdle before, but typically it's not the quarterback doing it. So just a notable bit there, but we'll kick back into the next bit here, Josh's Michigan trip.
Yeah, well, so it was me and my mom's Michigan trip. My mom hasn't been to Michigan in 15 years.
2003.
Is that 16 years then? I would numbers suck.
It's 2003, and so this is the 8, so 15.
Yeah, 15 years. Yeah, so we did the math. Yeah, it was 15 years that she hadn't been back in Michigan. A lot has changed. The people didn't really change, but a lot around town did. It was really nice to bring her there and have some fun. We were in town. We talked last week for a wedding. That was the wedding of Daniel Pocock and Leah Pocock now.
Hold on, pause. Why didn't he take Atlas? Is that her name?
No. So there was they had a hashtag for all their photos, and it was supposed to say "At Last Pocock."
Oh,
and
God.
I looked up and I was just like, I saw it and I was like, who the heck is Atlas T. Pocock? And then like
that was the running joke, like, hey, make sure you tag Atlas T.
Yeah. And Leah was like, it's At Last Pocock. And I was like, yeah, sure. And like, it would, like, Daniel's family, it would be hilarious if there was like a long lost family member named Atlas T. Like, just hails from Georgia, name Atlas.
We should find like just a random, stock photo of some guy that's in a bunch of different poses, and then add him into all the wedding photos, and like, oh, this is tag Atlas T in this.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was so funny. I was really proud to see my other best friend get married. So I was at Dale's wedding 5 years ago in August, and now Daniel's wedding this year, and then we got another wedding coming up. I mean, it was just really nice. The open bar was sweet.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
Oh yeah, how was that open bar, Josh?
I am of full belief that if there's an open bar anywhere, you need to get as drunk as possible for that wedding. You had an open bar at your wedding too, Dale, didn't you?
I did, but we didn't have liquor though. We only had beer and wine, so
that's what it was.
People really couldn't get trashed.
Josh was away from my first wedding, and we had an open bar there, and they screwed up on their contract, and they left the full liquor and deal for the lower price. So like, I signed on the dotted line immediately for that, and there were literally like 50 teachers at my wedding, and they were all trashed. So,
I think I don't say I was the drunkest person at Daniel's wedding. Chris was drinking a lot more than I was.
Yes, but Chris was still dancing and moving around. You were half passed out.
I got sick. That's why, because where we were sitting, it was like dead on with the lights flashing and strobing in my eyes, and then the pounding music. I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I had to go sit out in the lobby for a little while, and then
Josh just
it sucked. I don't like drinking, but
whatever.
I just had to do it for my friend's wedding.
Whatever. You love drinking.
However, from numerous people, I did deliver the best man speech. No offense, Dale.
Mine sucked.
Yeah, I like Daniel, and I guess his new wife is okay.
Dale was gonna say, he does like, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this. Didn't say any of the things he said he was gonna say, and I'm just like,
I was so worried that Daniel would be angry with me when I was like, because I wanted to say, Leah, you won't love Daniel as much as I do, but you can sure try. And Josh is like, say that. I'm like, no, that's not. Daniel's going to be embarrassed, and he's not going to want me to say that, but whatever.
Oh man, it was something. It was good. And I mean, like, so the Jen and Ashley's speeches for Leah were around that same kind of thing. Like, they were like, oh well, I guess Daniel might love you now more than we do. And I was just like, They were making jokes
They were
too.
like, Dale should have said it.
But honestly, so I think the key is, and this I'm just going to go, this is kind of just off topic. The key is make sure to have your best man speech written out and then read what you wrote, but then ad lib some stuff to it. Kind of play off the crowd. Don't just try to memorize it and then say what you're going to say. Like, doesn't work that way. Like, we can't all be Obama
literally
at speech giving.
any like standing or speaking deal.
Because I had a really good one at Dale's wedding too. I wish I still had it on my phone. I was looking the other day and I couldn't find it.
I don't want to expect a top-notch one for.
It's gonna be there. If only I can breathe in my tiny ass freaking slim fit.
Did you try it on?
Yeah, I tried it on.
Was it too small?
It fits. I'm gonna try to lose some weight to make it a little more.
You got 14
snug.
14 days.
Yeah, I'll just diarrhea myself. That's why I'm on the Taco Bell diet. Just. But overall,
give it 2 days before you.
Michigan trip was fantastic. Oh, by the way, I got to go to my first Michigan game ever. Also, my first Nebraska game ever that the Nebraska Cornhuskers actually played. That was.
Did they really play though?
They tried. They sure tried.
You're using that word loosely.
Yeah. One of them was playing volleyball at one point in time.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was bad. Oh, I don't know why they. Oh, man, okay, but the game was fantastic. Michigan. So the Michigan Stadium's called the Big House, and it's named such because it can fit up to almost
107,000.
Yeah. Well, no, it can fit more than 107.
107 seats are what it's listed as.
Standing room.
Was it 107? I thought it was even bigger than that.
No, it was 107, but you can fit standing room because the game we were at was 111,000.
Yeah, I remember hearing that the capacity is supposed to be 120,000.
Maybe the max capacity for the entire fire code type deal.
There was 111,000 people there. Like, even on a good day when Memorial Stadium is sold out, there's no more than 90-something thousand people in that.
Yeah, but
stadium,
you're splitting hairs with a couple thousand people. I mean,
but can you tell, Josh,
10,000 people?
Can you tell that why there was, like, they say 111,000 because of how crammed it was, though?
Oh, it was very cramped.
Me and Josh were like this the whole time.
But it was still a really fun experience. I really wish I still am hoping that I can go see the makeup game at Memorial Stadium that the Huskers are going to play this year. Hopefully I can get a ticket for that again. I'd like to just see what it's like there. But for my first college football game, it was fantastic. I paid way too much money for my ticket, which is true.
The seats weren't that bad though, from the pictures you saw.
Oh, there was a good seat. Don't get me wrong; it was a great seat. But I could have gotten
we had
seat on the other side of the field, facing the Michigan side, and paid half as much money as I paid.
I was just saying when we talked about it before.
I would say it was middle top. But it was still, between the 50 and 45 yard lines there.
Location wise, it was great. I would say the only downside, and it wasn't down, it was just downside for the price, was how far back from the field we were.
Yeah.
But I think I preferred that. I mean, maybe we could have got a little closer, but if we're too close, then we're going like this too much, Yeah. I like just being able to.
Too far down, too, you can't see over the people that were in front of you. Whereas where we were at, because the angle that it would go up, like, it was really easy to see over the people in front of us.
Everybody in the lower bowl was standing most of the time.
Yeah. but it was really good. Biggest takeaway from that, honestly, there was a moment where there was a speech about teamwork. It's one of the Michigan things that they do. I'm assuming probably at every game. But
like
it was
a jumbotron type.
Yeah, so like the jumbotron lit up, and then over the loudspeaker came this speech. It was from a Michigan head coach in the '80s that was talking about winning the championship and doing it for the team. It's
Sure
not just for the coaches. It's not. No, it was an actual coach. I looked it up this morning and delivered kind of the same speech to my team for what we do today to just kind of motivate everybody and tell them like how I felt the weekend went. So it was a
vocal
good thing.
Plagiarism.
I made sure to give credit to. I linked the YouTube video to the original thing.
You linked it to
my group me, yeah. But I took a picture of it because it said like Michigan. It said the team, and I thought that was really cool. The student section had that. And that was probably my biggest takeaway. Dale, I think I know what yours is, but go ahead and say it.
Are you talking about from the game?
Yeah.
I really liked the people, landing, flying in. That was pretty cool. 2 Marines jumped out of a Cessna, small plane, and they, landed right on the field, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
The only reason I really was focused on that is so much is because my brother-in-law, he's been jumping out of planes now for the past year and a half. And so I was really excited to be like, oh, wow, that's really cool to see from the ground. So I filmed it the whole time and I posted it online. He thought that was nice. Yeah, I think that was my biggest takeaway. But I have a lot of friends that are Marines. And in the video, the guy's like, it's so easy, a Marine can do it. And everyone's gave that guy like a lot of shit.
It was special forces. I mean, it was made up of Marines, Airmen, Rangers, and SEALs. So they were all technically, all branches of the military were being represented, but it was just really funny that he made that joke about Marines. But it was cool. They had the Michigan flag and the United States flag on their backs, and then on their legs they had little smoke things that one was blue and one was yellow. As they were like doing their thing around. But I will say this, like, so college stadiums, you think, like, Big House is a big house. It's a big stadium. I could still like just imagine trying to land from a parachute like into that stadium with a breeze and everything else. Yeah, it has to be very challenging to do something like that. So mad respect to those guys. F-16s fly over Memorial Stadium, and that's cool. And I think there's even F-16s that fly over the Big House every once in a while.
Wow.
But it was something.
The Michigan Stadium is the biggest.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest college stadium in the world, I think.
I didn't know that. Well, it's in 10 largest college football stadiums in NCAA division.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it 120,000? Does it say
107.6?
176.
107.6.
Oh, so having 111,000 there, and that was 200 and something consecutive games that they've had over 100,000.
282.
Yeah, that's insane. Just getting 100,000 people there. I can't. I thought Husker games were big. But yes, let's keep moving on. Sorry. Michigan trip was awesome. My mom loved it. Thanks, Dale, for taking my mom to Greenfield Village. I was sick on the last day.
That was sick, yo.
That's right, man.
All right. What's this MLB stuff there, Dale?
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch base on it. September, early October, late September.
That was a good one.
I didn't even realize I did that. But see, I'm not good with puns in real life, and you guys just do it all the time. So, point is, the MLB main season is finishing up. Detroit Tigers was third in their division, and the Kansas City Royals were last in the same division. So neither of those guys will be going to the 2018 playoffs. However, the New York Yankees are in the wild card, which is really weird. They usually do pretty well, or at the top of their league, but they're in the wild card this year against the Oakland A's. So it'll be interesting to see that. But one that I would like to see right away is the Cleveland Indians versus the Houston Astros. So that'll think could be a good series to watch for out of the 5 games. So, but yeah, main season is ending. Just wanted to touch base on that. Remember a good year of baseball?
There's not a good year blimp for baseball, Dale.
No, probably not.
Maybe next time I'm in Michigan, you can take me out to the ball game.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of Michigan and its big house, we got big news here.
It's Max news.
So Josh and I got the iPhone XS Max. That's the whole news. That's it. That's the news.
That sounds so. What's new about it, guys?
So it's.
I unlocked my phone by just doing this.
No, you didn't. You turned it. You turned it back to yourself, and then it unlocked.
It was already unlocking, though.
We'll consult the video later.
Okay.
So it is bigger. It's a 6.5 inch screen instead of a 5.1 inch screen. It is got bunch of better processing. They have done a lot of stuff with the update, the iOS 12 update, but a lot of stuff is unchanged besides the innards, really. I mean, it seems very similar. I like the iOS updates that have happened.
It's slightly faster, even without the doing them side by side. I noticed some slight improvements in the speed that it opens up things and the multitasking ability of the iPhone Max.
I've actually experienced slower.
Really?
What I feel like is slower. I'm not a nano computer that can judge seconds to seconds, but I feel like it has gone slower, but maybe it's just my connection for internet or whatever being wonky.
Timey-wimey.
Wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. But the things in the new iOS, like screen time, what else? The tape measure app that they gave you for the AR tape measure.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I used it to measure my wiener. I did. I used it to measure my wiener, and it worked.
Many, many uses.
It does. Other things that have come out with that, or come out with iOS 12 that I have enjoyed. I'm trying to think of. I was using the Siri. I got into using the Siri shortcuts. Yeah, those are really awesome. So now, like when I basically get off my Wi-Fi, it opens up my maps. So like it's basically, there used to be this app that I had. It is called If This Then That, and it's basically doing that same thing. So
Yeah.
And so it was pretty cool. I like it. So that's really it.
I definitely like the phone. I have noticed some speed increases.
The bigger.
Go ahead. I was gonna say not necessarily in like internet download speeds and stuff like that. Those are pretty consistent, but just in how fast like an app will load on both phones. Like I can open up both phones, open up Facebook, and my Facebook will load faster. Like will open up and everything will be more functioning faster than the other one.
But Josh, Facebook is a toilet. Why would you use it?
Facebook is a toilet, and I use Facebook how it should be used to correct you fools. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's not kidding.
I am, and I'm not.
So
that's my next topic that I guess I want to talk about. Any other iPhone things that we wanted to talk about?
I like it. I just need to get a case. Yeah. Walmart, getting some cases in.
And phones in general, because I I don't want to trash the company I work for, but I could not get my phone through the company I work for in Michigan because they did a terrible job getting me my phone. Just saying. Come to Omaha, buy the phones. We have plenty.
Yeah. Facebook. Go ahead.
Okay, so John Oliver did his Last Week Tonight on Sunday. This main topic that they talked about was Facebook. And one of the things that was really crazy about Facebook, besides leaking our sensitive information to businesses and influencing our elections with fake news and all those other things that Facebook is guilty of already.
What are those?
What I just said. The things that it's not guilty of. And the running joke was that Facebook is not guilty of a genocide in Myanmar, I should say, formerly Burma.
Or also known as Burma?
Well, I mean, it used to be called Burma. Now it's Myanmar. But still.
It's like how Istanbul used to be Constantinople.
So that's a city. But
yeah, but I mean like the naming convention.
Yes, yeah. It changed when new people got in power. So what basically was going on is they were talking about how Facebook is basically, it started off as nothing there. Like there was like 100,000 users.
Well, it's basically that's their internet.
Well, in 2 years, it went from 1,000 users to 14 million. And almost everybody has it in Myanmar.
Well, it's because it comes preloaded on their phones, and their internet providers or their phone providers offer free Facebook besides videos and
to the point where it's synonymous with saying Facebook and internet being the exact same.
I got on the internet I got on Facebook or vice versa.
But the troubling thing is people were getting their news from Facebook, and the problem was due to language barriers and problems like that, Facebook was having an even harder time recognizing hate speech and
fake news
and things like that. So it was letting a lot of that stuff get by, which was influencing the public mind, which was causing a lot of trouble for some Muslims in a predominantly Buddhist country. And it's been something that I've been super critical of a lot of my friends lately on Facebook, when people are posting like random troll things and just all around trying to be funny by posting, they'll be like, oh, it's satire, I'm posting it to be satirical. And the problem is it's not, I mean, it is Facebook's problem, but it's also our problem as human beings. I don't fully blame Facebook for the problem. Facebook cannot invent a perfect system for finding out the difference between satire and true hate speech, or a joke and someone being racist, or, the difference between like this right here and butt cheeks. Like, you can't develop a perfect program for that. It's getting there, and it does get better the more we help it. But right now it's not perfect. So when people post things that are satirical, or they're doing it just to troll, what they're doing is they're promoting content that then gets shared to other people who might not know the difference. And so I've had this big, huge thing probably for the last year and a half now about epistemic responsibility. Basically, the idea that you have a moral obligation to know why you believe certain things, and you have to be justified in why you believe things, and to make sure that you're not letting other people believe things that they're not justified for believing, which is really tough because it sounds kind of super critical and like holier than thou.
Which is the Josh Gibby way.
Yeah, it's just I find it, so right now, 20% of the entire population of Facebook users are in America. And, you know, it took 14 million people in Myanmar to basically break the system. That of the total population, I bet that is, you know, I don't know what the total population of Myanmar is, but I'm assuming it's a pretty good majority of the population using Facebook, and the impact that it had on the entire country is huge. It's not going to take very much for something like that to happen in the United States, where of the few, you know, the almost, we're almost at 1 billion people in the United States right now, right? 700 million? No,
320 million.
320 million.
Yeah,
and I feel like there was more people than that in the United States.
Myanmar is at 52.89 million.
Million.
And that's as of 2016. So
Okay.
you're looking at probably 53 to 55 million.
So I'm sure we have plenty more people,
Which,
percentage-wise,
well, I
in
mean,
our country
yeah,
using Facebook than what percentage was in Myanmar.
It's 6 times more people. You have 6 times more people if we have 300 million.
Yeah. But what's my
Is that what you
percentage
said?
of it? So if there's 12 million Facebook users out of 56 million, right?
Yeah.
So 12 divided by 56.
So I mean, you're like
21% of the people in that country have Facebook.
Yeah.
It's almost 1 in every 4. I would guess that number's even higher in the United States. Now, granted,
it's like 1 in every 5. I guess if you go to 21%,
I would probably say 1 in 3. I bet people in the United States have Facebook. They all probably run these numbers.
You're talking about U.S. I thought you were talking about Myanmar, because 20%, no matter what, 20% of whatever number is 1 in 5.
Yeah.
So
1 in 5, 1 in 4. It was almost 22%.
I'm just Googling it real quickly. I don't know if this number is correct or not, but it looks like 68% of Americans have Facebook.
68%?
2/3.
So,
and you gotta think about, there's children who don't have Facebook, so, and adults that probably can't, the elderly who can't use those. So I mean, you're looking at a greater population of the people who can feasibly use Facebook. I mean, there's kids who are underage who still have Facebooks because, I mean, they're not supposed to.
So the problem being is that Facebook is terrible at filtering out content, especially fake content. It's terrible at filtering out the difference between satirical and true hate speech.
But Facebook can tell me when I can't post a video of my daughter because it's got Kesha in the background.
That's true too. So, I mean, these algorithms are there to try to help, but they're also still lacking. And the thing that's really worrying to me is that as this becomes more and more of a problem and people stop trying to police themselves and just rely on Facebook to do it, and Facebook keeps failing and more people keep using Facebook, it's only going to get worse. So the whole thing from the John Oliver thing was that Facebook has turned into a toilet because it just takes shit and spreads it out and redistributes it around.
No, he said
Facebook
is worse than a toilet because the toilet actually takes your shit and puts it somewhere else, whereas Facebook just spreads the shit around like a shit storm or
cesspool
shit. I think he said shit tornado, but
it's something that, I've been kind of, I'm going to take a stand on it. It's probably not going to make any difference and just make me very unpopular on Facebook, but I've vowed to,
I mean, nobody will know.
That's true, but I've vowed to give people warnings first. And then if content doesn't get changed, like if someone's posting fake news thinking it's real, I'm just going to report it. I'm going to be like, hey, this is wrong. And if they're like, no, it's not, then I'll be like, okay, report. Or if it's hate speech of any kind, I'm going to report it too. call it social justice warrior, call it whatever you guys want to, being a snowflake. I
You're a pretty big snowflake.
It's not necessarily like we're talking the possibility of genocide and fascism and things like that.
So let's talk about that, because this is what we touched on earlier. The reason he says that is Facebook's not responsible for genocide. However, a tyrannical Buddhist monk, or I guess we'll call him a tyrannical Buddhist monk, had about, what was it, 107,000 followers or whatever on his Facebook page, and he was posting all this anti-Muslim stuff, and that may have led to was it
10,000
deaths. So Facebook is not responsible, but Facebook is a enabling factor in that, is what they're saying. Obviously, he posted the stuff, but Facebook enabled him, or enabled that stuff to be shared.
Yeah, it didn't get flagged as hate speech.
It didn't get flagged. Some things that they did to change it, and I don't know how recently this was, but they hired 60 new Burmese speaking flagging, or 60 new people to sift through the content that gets flagged or posted or whatever. And they show examples such as this is not nudity, this is nudity. They don't even and to me it's kind of a weird thing. They don't say this is technically considered hate speech, so they're just flagging the stuff that shouldn't even matter anyway, because sexuality and stuff like that shouldn't be an issue. It's the shit that gets through, like warmongering and things like that shouldn't be spread, that are, and the stuff that's boobs is getting the attention. So it just really shows where the priorities are at, regardless, on Facebook's part. However, that's a snippet of the training. It can't be the whole thing, but realistically, they show what they show for reasons.
And so 60 people monitoring
12 million
to 14 million users, you're still going to have a huge amount that just gets by, because the algorithms for Facebook can't catch it all, and the personal users can't catch it all. We see this with YouTube right now, that there's just so much content being uploaded to YouTube that the algorithms can't keep up to get rid of certain content on YouTube. There's not enough people to physically view every video that gets uploaded on YouTube. And then we get videos like ISIS and stuff like that, and channels with people getting beheaded on YouTube, because we don't have enough people there doing it. And if we just work together as a community to kind of be like, hey, this is a video of ISIS, I'm going to report this, then you draw attention to those things. You make the algorithms better by being like, hey, this is hate speech. Hey, this is nudity. Hey, this is hate speech. I don't think nudity necessarily needs to be a big deal on Facebook. Honestly, that's a whole topic for another discussion. But like preventing misinformation and things like that from getting out there and spreading to people, I think that is a huge problem in America right now. That's a huge problem in the world right now, is people who think they are informed but are not informed.
Here's a good example on a lighter topic. There was a post that was shared about 10 days ago for some kid put laxative in lemonade, a prank or whatever, and I watched it, and there's all these videos, phone videos of these kids pooping their pants and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, this is so terrible, this is, I can't believe this is real. Well, turns out it wasn't. It was from a video or a movie or a show that's coming out, or that came out, the second season of American Vandal. We watched it like 3 days later, and I don't know who put it on Facebook, but it had over 100,000 shares, and to the effect that it caught me. I thought it was fake, or I thought it was real. That it was a real deal and not a TV show. And had I never watched that show, or had I never paid attention to The show, I would have thought it was real literally and told people about it just in my day-to-day, comings of the. So, I mean, just it's a dumb example, but it's a very strong example as well. So,
and it unfortunately, even if it is fake, I've seen a lot of things where like people will post like, oh, this park had razor blades like taped to things in the park, and they're like, oh, this park, these kids were cutting their hands and stuff, and they're posting pictures of that. So then all these parents are like, oh, I'm not taking my kids to the park anymore. And it wasn't a real thing. Like, that didn't happen. But the more that spreads, the more you give some crazy person the platform to then be like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that?
Or like the vaccine argument.
Yeah. Well, and so now, I mean, there is actually a real problem in Australia right now with people putting needles in fruit. Because
fruit needles.
Well, because like it was something where, at first it started off as like kind of a joke, like, oh, this happened in this spot, and people weren't taking it seriously. So then like they were spreading it on Facebook and thinking, oh, this is what happened. And then it actually started happening like after the fact. Like the fake stories created a real monster from it.
I love how you say monster.
Monster.
Had that G in
there.
Had that G in there. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, basically Facebook sucks. We all know it, but we all still use it. So the irony sucks as well.
So we need to use it to make Facebook better is what I'm saying. So make sure we're reporting fake news and things like that, misinformation, or at least just calling people out on their shit and making sure we have reasons to believe what we believe.
All right. Let's zip through this nerdy news here.
Nerdy news. Go, Dale.
Go, Dale. Go, Dale. Go.
So I don't know if you guys watch College Humor anymore. I know I've been watching it pretty good for the past few months on YouTube and whatnot. So College Humor released a video today, and they are, I don't want to say they're going private, but they started this paid service similar to Netflix called Dropout.tv, and it's a paid subscription service that you can watch some of their content sooner. You can support them in different ways. So I just, it's another way to support your creators. They couldn't keep up with the ad revenue from YouTube alone, so they decided to branch out with something different. And it was something interesting to touch base on. I thought we could talk about a little bit of, do you think this is a good idea to branch out on your own like Netflix?
I definitely think for independent creators like College Humor or any YouTuber, this seems like a more formal version of a Patreon. I mean, to me, but Patreon doesn't get a cut, or I don't know how Patreon works, if they get cuts of the stuff or anything. I'm sure they do. But Patreon doesn't get a cut. You get to support them directly. You get that extra content for free or early or whichever. So it's definitely one of those things where you're seeing it a lot more. And this kind of brings me back to the topic I said a couple months ago, is when you have a paid service for Disney, Marvel, DC, College Humor. I mean, at this point, you're paying a cable bill. You almost, there might as well be eventually there's going to be a conglomerate service where you just pay for all these services, and then you've got you've got cable again,
Well, I definitely agree with that to an extent. I've been a YouTube Red or YouTube Premium subscriber now for about a year and a half, and I like that a little better because I don't get the ads. I get access to music from Google Music, and so I definitely enjoy it. However, watching videos alone, I want to support the creators, through Patreon, through whatever means necessary. And sometimes I'll click on stuff just so I can support them more. Somebody I like more, somebody I watch more often, I want to support. I find this, at least, the Dropout TV, to be a little more extreme than the average person is doing. And I think that they should have done a Patreon or something similar to what the mainstream people are doing, or what the average is, because this way people that are, Josh could probably answer this more than I can. If I have a Patreon, or if I'm supporting somebody in Patreon, is it easier for me to support somebody else through Patreon, or do I have to sign in completely new? Like, it doesn't really matter if I'm a user of Patreon. You guys know that?
If you're like a user of Patreon, like if you're already a patron for somebody else, like obviously everything you're paying, like you can be a patron for multiple people and it all just shows up as one big bill.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think more people would be up for that, especially, we're going to start Patreon here soon for us and Project Nerd. So is it easier for somebody to go to a site they're familiar with, like Patreon, when they are familiar with the concept, they've heard the name, it's more familiar, or to jump over to a new subscription service where it's something new and you don't really know how to support them and you have to go to another whole site to see stuff?
Well, and the thing with those sites or with this is it's going to be new to them. A subscription service for video or anything like that is going to be a new format for them. So they're going to have kinks that they're going to have to work out. I'm sure there's not too much different. It's not too much different than what they already do. It's just uploading it earlier, uploading it to a specific location, giving special access and things like that, which you could definitely do through Patreon. However, like I said earlier, the cut that Patreon takes is what they're probably trying to avoid, and also to keep it in-house. They've got College Humor's got a decade on Patreon itself. I'm sure Patreon's probably been out for only a couple of years now, I would assume. I don't know how far back it went, in the early days, but, at least to my knowledge, it's only been a couple of years, whereas College Humor, dates back to 2005 at least, when YouTube came out. I mean, they were, pretty much one of the front runners and, super, what's the word I'm looking for?
Videos.
Just high production for YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things where I think they're trying to do their own thing. But like I said, you have all those,
I would have liked to see them work out a series on, something with either Amazon or Netflix or with Hulu. I think things like VRV, for instance, by Crunchyroll, it is something that, you can, like, there's Nickelodeon cartoon shows on there now. There's VRV exclusive shows. Dan Harmon's D&D Quest thing that they do, I can't remember what it's called, is on there. Ruby's on there. Basically everything Rooster Teeth, everything Crunchyroll, it's all on VRV. Having services like that, I think, are a little better, because it's $10 a month for VRV now. It's $11 a month for Netflix. It's $10 for Hulu. Kind of like what Drew was saying. Like, if I wanted to do DC and Disney's new thing coming out, I'm gonna be paying $70 a month for video content, for streaming video content, on top of the $100, $80 a month I pay for internet.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's getting to the point where, like, I probably would not be able to support those guys on Patreon on top of being able to pay for all this stuff. So jumping on the bandwagon of a bigger group like Netflix or something like that, even if it means taking a smaller percentage of the profits, I wish there was a way that you could rank stuff on, like, I wish there was a way that if Dropout.tv was the most watched channel on Netflix, that Netflix would give them more share of money than the
wouldn't the fact that it's being watched more get them more views, which gets them more money?
So
exactly.
So
that would be the case. But.
So that's how it works for Spotify, and this is predates back to when Taylor Swift dropped out of Spotify, is because she was upset that her cut was way bigger than Joe Schmo music artist, and it's because you get 10 cents per play, and we'll just call it round number. Well, if she gets 100 million plays, a year, and Joe Schmo gets 10,000, then obviously you're going to get, your cut's going to be they're going to be different. However, because she's a bigger artist, she was saying, she doesn't want her cut to be 10 cents. She wants it to be 2 cents because she wants the lower guys to be 10 cents so that it's almost equal as far as that goes. Whereas,
but she has other sources of income, so she can say that.
Which I completely agree with, and that's like I said, I don't want to get into this rant because I was pissy about it for a whole year, and then she got back on it or whatever. So, but as far as what Josh is saying, the streaming service is having a ranking system, or of visibility. I think that there needs to be, Dale's saying that they can see the analytics of how many people are watching, this, that, and the other. I watched freaking Scott Pilgrim versus the World 3 times in the last week, and
yay, Netflix.
And that's new to Netflix this week. But like what Josh is saying is, or I think where Josh was going with it is, they pay for the rights. Netflix pays for the rights to stream that service, and that's it. So for an independent creator to basically come to Netflix and say, hey, just put our stuff on here, we won't ask you for anything except for maybe a little cut of the revenue that we maybe bring in, is definitely a good way to go, I think. If that's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah. Nobody wanted Iron Fist season 2.
I mean, there's those.
It was good though.
10 people. Well, there's 10 people who wanted Iron Fist season 2. But that's one of those things.
10 people also want a Boba Fett movie.
But and that's no, you shut your mouth. Lots of people want a Boba Fett movie.
That's a negative, hot negative.
But it was kind of something, that I was going into, and also I was using VRV because I signed up for my premium VRV account so I could catch up on My Hero Academia. Which, just to quickly move on here, they had a movie that just came out on Thursday. My Hero Academia, 2 heroes. I have not been this obsessed with an anime / like TV show since Dragon Ball Super. And I'm just gonna be honest here. I didn't buy a VRV subscription to watch Dragon Ball Super. I did buy it to watch My Hero Academia.
That's because that Poontang, though.
What Poontang?
That's all I'm gonna say.
Are you giving something away? I swear, I haven't seen any Poontang on My Hero Academia. Well, there is a girl who can like manifest clothes.
I'm not talking about the anime Poontang. I'm talking about the real life Poontang.
Yeah, I'm confused. But
What?
Speaking of giving creators their due and paying for content and movies,
I get it because Tallgrass has due. Was that due?
No, but that was a good transition there. I was like, movies, Tallgrass Film Festival, Drewsies.
Yeah, so
what are we talking about, guys? I am so lost.
That's just because you're sleepy, Dale. So Tallgrass Film Festival is October 18th through 22nd or something like that.
I think that's right.
And so it's basically Thursday to
in
Sunday
Kansas, where there's tall grass.
Where there is tall grass. And we are tentatively going as long as everything works out with Project Nerd. That's it. That's everything. See us there.
Wait,
Dragon Ball.
Another quick thing, kind of an anime news, things like that. I came across an article for a story by Akira Toriyama. Had no idea. It's called Dragon Ball, That Time I Got Reincarnated as Yamcha, where a Dragon Ball fan on his way to a Dragon Ball convention to go meet a girl ends up dying, gets reincarnated, turns out he's Yamcha. And he's like, oh my goodness. So he's reliving his life in the Dragon Ball universe, but he knows how the Dragon Ball universe works. So he makes a vow that he's going to turn Yamcha around to become the strongest Dragon Ball character ever. So it's kind of going to be like a Dragon Ball retelling, except Yamcha is going to be the hero instead of Goku. Book comes out November 6th. I'm assuming it's probably just part 1 of many. It's $10 on Amazon. I might actually pick up a copy. because I was intrigued enough to see this.
Speaking of Amazon, and this kind of goes back to our college humor bit. Sorry, Dale, what were you going to say?
When did you guys decide you're going to Tallgrass?
Today.
I mean, it's been on the docket for a little bit. We just weren't sure how exactly it was going to work out.
Yeah.
Because Tallgrass is 2 weeks before Rhode Island, so it was like, for me, it was like one or the other. And it sounds like Rhode Island's out, and Tallgrass is the one where they apparently give you like a per diem and daily food and all that junk. So it's up in the air right now, but tentatively going.
Yeah.
Going back to the college humor deal, and just because we talked about it, Funny or Die puts their stuff on Amazon, like kind of like Josh was saying.
And I thought Funny or Die was a college humor brand.
Dale, I
thought it was, but I could be wrong.
Dale, can you fact check that for us? But anyway, so like Zach Marcus's Trash is on there. They've already done 3 seasons of that.
Badman.
They're not. I haven't seen them on Amazon, but
they are.
Don Cheadle is as Captain, or not Captain America, Captain Planet is on there from Funny or Die. So I mean, they're putting their stuff on Amazon. I think that's kind of similar to what we were talking about.
Dale just shrugged. I don't know if that means that Funny or Die is.
It is private. They own their own crap.
There's just a lot of crossover characters I've seen from Funny or Die that are also used to be college humor guys. But to be fair, there's college humor writers that are now on John Oliver. So
I would say they're not a subsidiary of what is it? Comedy Central. But they have a lot of shows on Comedy Central as well. The people who own Funny or Die.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for our science-y topic.
So this week in Blind Science, we're going to talk about Facebook. I'm just kidding. How do Facebook's analytics work, Josh? Just kidding. That's not the science question. The science question is, how many objects have humans put on Mars?
How many objects have humans put on Mars?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I have a list.
Okay.
And I know you know a lot of them, or a few of them.
At least, oh man, this is going to be tough. I know there's at least 3 rovers on Mars. I literally just watched videos on the new Mars rover and the tires that are on the Mars rover right now. Oh, man, there's probably some other random junk up there. Some not necessarily rovers, but probes that are on the planet's surface. I'm going to say there's like, and this isn't counting like junk, right? Like the rocket booster that helped Curiosity land that then later just flew off and then crashed on the Martian surface. That's not counting on one of those things, is it?
Technically, yes.
Damn it. Oh, man, this is going to be tough, man. I'm going to say
so give me the ones that you know for sure.
Well, I know Curiosity, Opportunity. Oh, man, I can't remember the other one. There's 2 other rovers, I think. One's just offline, and then the other one is still online but not moving. So I'm going to say there's 4 rovers. There's the rover's jetpack from 2 of them that are still on Mars. The previous jetpack thing didn't use the crane system. It used an airbag system. There's probably a couple downed satellites that are even on the Martian surface too. I'm going to say there's 25 man-made objects on the surface of Mars.
A little high.
Little high? 12?
Little low.
Man.
So do you want the list here?
Yeah, let's hear the list.
All right. So
is Mark Watney on there still?
So we've
that was
got
a Martian joke.
Mars 2,
Okay, that's a
70
rover.
71. Mars 3, 71.
No, those are two satellites.
Yeah. So Mars 2 is a satellite.
Yep.
Mars 3 is a satellite.
Is now on the surface of.
Yep.
So Mars 6, Viking Lander 1, Viking Lander 2, or Viking 1 lander, Viking 2 lander.
Yep. And those are just stationary things. They're not rovers.
Yep.
Nope.
But they don't transmit anything anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
Pathfinder
Pathfinder, I remember that one.
and Sojourner,
Yeah.
the first rover.
Yeah.
The Climate Orbiter,
I don't know what the climate orbiter is.
Mars Climate Orbiter.
There's a space probe launched from NASA to study Martian climate and atmosphere, surface changes, and
They think it is they think it is landed on, but they do not have a specific location for it.
I think it was destroyed.
Yeah, it was probably crashed and in pieces everywhere.
I mean, it's technically still on the surface.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they've crashed on the planet since then.
So, and then they have the Mars Polar Lander and Deep Space 2.
They have Beagle 2.
Beagle 2, the Spirit rover and Opportunity rover, both in 2004.
Yeah.
One's still in operation, one is unoperational.
Yep.
The Phoenix Mars lander, the Mars Science Laboratory or Curiosity, and the EDM lander.
So there's still 4 rovers. I think I got that right.
There's only 2 rovers.
What? Curiosity.
Curiosity and
There's
Opportunity.
4 rovers, but there's
4
only
rovers
2
that made it, too. There's only 2 operational still, which is what I said, too.
Well, the Mars Phoenix lander, that's not a...
It's a lander. There was...
Okay.
Well, no. So Opportunity
and Sojourner were both.
You said Curiosity and Opportunity.
Yeah.
So you got those right out of the gate. Those are the 2 that are still operational.
Yeah.
And then Spirit was the
one that was crashed and not operational. Or not crashed, it's stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And then it ran out of batteries and died.
And then Sojourner.
And Sojourner. So, yeah, there's 4. I knew there was 4. I just couldn't remember the name of Sojourner, but I remember that's after Sojourner Truth now.
So we've put an estimated mass of...
Have them guess it.
Mass?
Yeah. How much mass have we put on in kilograms?
Kilograms? God, you're killing me here too.
I'll transfer it into pounds.
Can I do tons?
Yeah, you can do tons. Do
pounds.
Pounds? I don't know. I'm going to say 20,000 kilograms. Roughly 20 metric tons.
Nope.
No, I have no idea.
9,800.
9,800 kilograms?
Yep.
I feel like Curiosity was...
Roughly 10,000 tons. Or 10 tons.
So isn't that 10,000 kilograms?
It'd be 21,000 pounds, roughly.
So if the rover...
2,000 pounds is 1 ton. So 10 tons.
So I'm confused now.
So
Because it sounds like the number he's giving me is really low.
98 kilograms is...
9,800
Sorry,
kilograms.
9,800 kilograms, which is what I said,
That's only
9,880 kilograms.
is 2,000 or 20,000 pounds.
21,781 pounds.
20,000 pounds. Okay, so it's 20,000 pounds, not 20,000.
Roughly 10.5 tons.
Roughly 10.5 tons. Okay. I thought 20 tons would probably be right there, but yeah, I have no idea what all's been crashed on Mars. That's a good one. I knew rover.
Those are just like things.
Yeah.
Not like,
And that's why I'm saying, like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been crashed into Mars that, like, I had no idea about. Like,
We've purposely sent those things. I mean, I guess
a couple of
could've-
those satellites, though, were just crashed in because they're like, hey, we've lost, like, it's not a perfect orbit, so it keeps losing energy as it goes around, and eventually it doesn't have enough energy to make the thing. So it's just like, and crashes in. Just like all of our near satellites will eventually crash into Earth. Our geosynchronous satellites should stay out there forever, but our non-geosynchronous satellites will eventually crash back to Earth.
Like
So yeah, I got that one wrong.
Like the one that crashed into China.
It didn't crash into China.
I mean,
two of them were Chinese. That sucked.
Yeah.
Womp womp. 7 out of 9. Thank you for that good conversation, though. I thought it was really relevant with my looking at the rover, and I was looking.
That's why I did it.
I was looking at the what's it called? They're basically reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
Because you can't have. So this is kind of a fun fact that we can tell people while we've got 0 time left. That on the surface of Mars, you can't use rubber wheels because it's too cold and it makes rubber pretty much fragile like glass. It'll freeze and crack and just shatter. So you can't have traditional rubber wheels. You can't do a solid wheel because solid wheels just weigh too damn much. So you have to do a lightweight wheel. So Curiosity uses aluminum wheels right now that are like 0.75 millimeters thick, like just super, like it's the size of your credit card thick is what they were saying. It's not very thick of a wheel, and aluminum that's that thin is, while yes, it's stronger than steel that thin. It's just not strong enough. So the wheels on Curiosity are actually just falling apart as it's rolling around. So this new rover that's going, so there's the Mars Person rover, which is what Stephen Colbert and everybody got to ride around in. There's another rover like Curiosity that's going to Mars before that. And they're putting in these wheels that are made of a metal that is kind of like a spring lattice at the metal that uses a memory system essentially to snap back into place. So when the wheels are experiencing a certain temperature, they'll actually spring back into their original form. And the pressure put on the wheels to move their shape actually generates enough heat to spring them back into their original shape. And it's this polymer, I think it's made out of nickel and titanium. I can't remember the scientific name for the thing, but it's a really cool metal and it remembers its position. So you can like crumple, like you could take it, crumple it up, throw it in like its temperature that'll trigger it, and it'll reshape itself back into its original shape. And they're using tires made out of that. And I think it's fantastic. Like they're literally reinventing the wheel, and they actually are trying it out on Earth to see if it could be a new material to actually build tires out of on Earth that don't use rubber or anything else like that. So you'll have tires that last a lot longer, that don't get popped, that can support the weight of your car, that are better, smoother on the ground when they're driving. Just all sorts of awesome applications that are going through it. I can't remember what company's making it. I want to say like Lockheed or something.
What is the temperature on Mars? I'm just asking.
I
have it here on.
If I remember correct, it fluctuates between negative 230 Celsius and like, I think it's like 230 both ways, like, or 100 something Celsius positive. Like it's a pretty big gambit because there's virtually no atmosphere.
It is a very large difference. It is common value is around negative 55 Celsius or negative 67 Fahrenheit. Its high reaches about 20 Celsius, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And then its low is usually at the poles, and it is negative 153 Celsius or negative 243 Fahrenheit.
243 Fahrenheit. Okay.
So it is a large scale.
Yeah, it varies a lot from what I've seen. And that's, again, because there isn't really much of an atmosphere to trap anything. Not like Venus, which is one of the hottest places in the galaxy, or in the universe. Not universe, solar system. It's actually hotter, I think, on Venus than it is on any other planet, with the exception of even Mercury, I think, isn't as hot as Venus is. Venus has a runaway greenhouse effect. It rains sulfuric acid.
So this is That's the weird thing, is the maximum surface temperature of Mercury and Venus are roughly the same.
Yeah.
But
the average overall
Venus is a little more, honestly.
I was going to say Venus should be the hottest planet.
Yeah, but the Mercury actually has a lower temperature, has a lower minimum temperature. Venus doesn't fluctuate like at all.
No, because it's all greenhouse. Like,
Yeah.
What's the energy that did make it through from the outside has created a convection thing. Like, so it's sealed off from stuff outside of influence, and it's just on the inside. So it's geysers and stuff like that, and the planet's geothermal energy heat it constantly. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's constantly at about 870 Fahrenheit. Just that's it.
I could have sworn I just read today that even on the Mars thing that I posted, I thought I saw that Neil deGrasse Tyson said negative 230 degrees. I thought he said Celsius, but he might have meant Fahrenheit for the low temperature on Mars. But
well, guys, that's all the time we got for you here on 600 Science, episode 420.
420, man.
We want to shout out to Altered Reality again for letting us be at Colorado Springs Comic Con, and obviously
Malcolm
Project
Goodwin interview is up now too as well. So
nice, perfect. And we hope to work with Altered Reality again. Like I said, they are our 60 Nerds of the Month this month for September, and we really appreciate everybody tuning in to listen here on Project Nerd.
Dale, is Malcolm Goodwin on our Facebook or on Project Nerds?
All the interviews are on. Actually, all the interviews will be on Project Nerd. The only thing that we have on our YouTube videos will be the panel, that one panel. Everything else will be Project Nerd exclusive, which we are too.
Of course. Yeah, so please, guys, if you want to see more of our faces and interviews and stuff from Colorado Springs, check out Project Nerd.
Project-nerd.com.
Yep, and then I think it's under the tour page, Project Nerd Tour, right? Or
no, I believe there's an interview section.
There is an interview section? Okay.
So we appreciate you guys listening. Check us out on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And then you can listen to us on Project Nerd, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Podcast Addict. And we appreciate it.
Buy our t-shirts.
Buy our t-shirts, yeah. Teespring launches every 3 days if people buy them. So minimum order is one. So all you got to do is order one, and they come to you. So and they're super cheap. They're like $15. And anything else, guys?
Have a good week.
Finger guns.
See you later, Stony Baloney.
Stony Baloney.
Yeah.
Love it. Bye.